So, proof the Bible is God's word, right? You start the video with a whole load of really nice statistics, 48 prophecies, all of them coming true in the New Testament, mind-boggling numbers, incredibly low chance that would happen. You had scientists in there, very interesting stuff, no bias whatsoever. But the funny thing is that the problem with this whole argument lies in your name. Jesus saves 1611. Now, for those of you who don't know, 1611 is the year in which the King James Bible was released in fine bookstores everywhere. In English. And before that, we can assume it was in Latin, and before that, Sanskrit, Hebrew, etc., etc. So you're starting to see where I'm coming from with this issue. And let us not forget that the whole thing was designed by committee, edited loads, every translation would have a different... I mean, God, right now there are about 25 versions of the Bible floating around out there, all coming from different sources with kind of different translations and texts in there. And yet you assume that at no point throughout the Bible's whole sordid little history of being edited by kings and queens and mistranslations, that not one person would have thought, even when they're putting it together at the very beginning, to have thought, well, here we have prophecy, Jesus will eat jam in the future. And you doubt that someone, or at least one of the scribes, would have had the, peace of mind to write down Jesus ate jam, therefore the prophecy came true. Ooh, suddenly the religion is becoming a whole lot more stable and awesome, and bloody sirens. Anyway, let it go, go on, piss off. Thank you. So, big issue there, the fact that it's a book. The chances of the prophecies in the Bible coming true are just as likely as ones in Harry Potter. They're the same thing. I mean, admittedly the ones in the Bible weren't written knowing that they'd be written to have actually happened thousands of years later, but it still remains that it's not as if the people who wrote the New Testament didn't know about the prophecies in the Old Testament. Jesus knew, he'd read it. So, I'm sorry, but the argument falls flat on its face. The people who wrote the Bible could have very easily edited it to include all the prophecies and complete them nicely, tick all the dots. And when, again, your statistic works against you, what are the chances some Hebrew scholars lied, or that it's 1 to the 157th power of all the prophecies coming true? Yeah. I'll leave that for you to ponder. Ta-ta.